Theater includes, among its functional components, the governance module, which allows you to bring in representation, on a cartographic layer, elements and assets of variable and heterogeneous type. These elements and assets, normally sensors, are able to transmit operating information, telemetry, or configuration to vertical systems that have governance tasks. These verticals, in turn, talk to a back-end component of Theater, normally cloud-based, capable of collecting the information, standardizing it, and making it available to Theater's multi-touch clients like the one we're seeing. It's possible, within Theater, to define different cartographic scenarios and visualize, for each scenario, the specific assets and devices present on the territory that you want to monitor. Each scenario allows you to define which elements must be represented and in which and how many logical layers must be organized. All this can be defined in Theater through the configuration interface. In this example, layers define families of sensors, such as light panels, remote-controlled lighting points, video cameras, pollution detectors, particulate detectors, and more. Since information is organized in layers, Theater, through the panel on the left side of its interface, provides the ability to enable and disable each layer. We see in the example that, by disabling a certain layer, the devices belonging to the disabled map layer disappear from the map. This gives the operator the possibility to concentrate his work on the analysis and monitoring of a specific type of sensors. Alternatively, if you need to correlate information coming from several elements, you can leave in view all those you deems appropriate to keep on the map for the activity you have to carry out. We see that the field elements have different iconographies. We have circles bordered with a color, while, in the highlighted case, we have an element with its own particular icon, representing a single place mark. The bordered and colored dots, on the other hand, represent clusters, i.e. sets of assets, whose display is automatically managed by Theater. Depending on the zoom level at which you are on the map, Theater redistributes the clusters, changing the number of elements displayed. As you zoom in, you'll see individual elements, each with a different iconography. As you descend to a higher zoom level, you can see how the individual clusters are redistributed. The number of field elements in each cluster changes, and as the zoom level changes, they are replaced by the individual place mark elements, each of which has its own iconography. In this case, we have some elements that are light points, an electric box, and a camera. By tapping on the detail, it is possible to open a panel that shows the information sent by the single field element. The information are of different type, based on the type of sensor. In the highlighted case, we have a light point, whose only information transferred is the on-off status, a camera, whose information transferred is the online/offline status, and a light panel that transfers a series of more articulated information, such as the various phases in which it is working in consumption. In the highlighted case, we can observe two light points, one regularly working and the other with an anomaly, so it is in an off state. Observe the use of color to highlight the state of operation. Theater allows in fact to define, always through the back-end interface, different logics for each type of device. For the lighting case, a binary logic has been defined so that the operating status on has been characterized by the color green, while the operating status off is characterized by the color red. In other cases, more analogics and thresholds can be set, associating to each color a range of values, which can be represented by green, yellow, or red, as we will see later. These thresholds can be defined for each parameter, i.e., for each value transferred by the sensor. In the example shown, 3 parameters transferred from the light box have been defined, all of them, in the case displayed, in a correct operating state. The operating state is reported, in chromatic terms, in the placemark border. It can be seen that the light points and the light box are bordered in green, while the camera, which is in the off state, is bordered in red. In this way, the operator can have a vision, at a glance, of the critical points present on the territory. This logic is also taken to a higher level, so that the clusters that contain an element in alarm status acquire the same border of the most seriously alarmed element in the cluster itself. As the zoom is reduced, the edging is inherited by the highest level cluster containing the elements in alarm. In the example, using a long tap gesture, it is possible to see the state of operation in detail of the elements that generated the alarm state of the cluster. The cluster has been brought to a high criticality level because it contains an element that is in alarm status. This logic, reported at the various zoom levels, provides the operator with an immediate overview of the criticalities present on the territory.